Thank you, Angel. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I hope you can all hear me well. Great. Thank you for inviting me, Angel, and Generics. And I only wish I would be there presently, but I'll be there virtually. It's really an honor to be there, and hopefully the technology helps us, and we can actually connect the dots today in a meaningful fashion. As Angel said, I'm a surgeon. I'm going to go back and forth from my actual view of my face and then my slides. So hopefully this works. I'm a general surgeon. I'm a trauma surgeon. I'm originally from Venezuela, but work in Maine. And that's my Twitter handle, which is the best way to connect with me. And I am a Google Glass Explorer. As an early pioneer for Google Glass, really my vision was really the one of using technology to help the healthcare. And as you can see, I'm a fan of gadgets. I do from trauma surgery to robotic surgery, but Google Glass is one of those tools that really woke up my attention in order to really sort of give me some sense of what technology could really do for someone, for us as surgeons. Technology really has a way to enable us to do better patient care. And I hope you can see my face well. I'm not sure what's happening in here, but if you can, please, Angel, let me know.
Well, it seems that I think it's going to be better to, rather than going through the slides, to have you online all the time. Because it seems that we are having problems when you are switching from slides to you being live.
So can you see me now?
Yeah.
See my face?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's keep it like that, because I think it's been difficult with it. I think they brought the bandwidth is difficult. Well, anyways, I went to Singularity University last year, and that really it's a program that it's about futurism in healthcare. I got exposed to Google Glass there. When I came back to Maine, which is where I work, a few days later thought of using the Google Glass in surgery. And as Angel said, I was the first surgeon who ever did it. And after that, it was such an excitement that was raised by this feat of just using a device like Google Glass to allow us to have better communication and better connectivity in healthcare. Google Glass, as you probably all know, is like having a small computer, a small smartphone in front of your eyes. And it allows you to do anything from making a phone call, to text, to check Twitter, to check Google, to also record video, take pictures, but also, most importantly, I think in healthcare, is the ability to enable streaming of live video and audio data. So that's what I did in the operating room. Was able to stream the operation that I was doing, obviously respecting the patient's privacy and asking for permission beforehand. I was able to stream that image and that view of what I was doing to a group of students in the next room. And I was not just recording the surgery, I was streaming it. So they were, through my eyes, present in the actual surgical procedure that I was doing. So I think that that's very important, because having the students have my same point of view, the same perspective that I was having in the operating room without them being physically there was something very powerful that allowed them to ask me questions, to answer my questions, to really have a much better learning of what I was doing. So a device like Google Glass, a wearable device like Glass, has an incredible potential for improving the way we do medical education. So in regards to caring for patients, and then I'll touch a little bit on pharmacy, I think that a device like Glass that allows us to tap into the digital realm with voice activation, and sometimes even with gestures or winks or moving our head, we can really tap and navigate the digital menus that are in our computer, in this case in class. So imagine doing teleconsultations where I can request the help of an expert provider anywhere in the world through Google Glass. Imagine me, for example, being able to help someone who needs my help remotely, doing telemedicine through Glass. Imagine, say, a nurse who is having a problem with a patient, and she can connect that patient with the provider, no matter what the provider is. I think that is a very powerful tool in order to do that. In pharmacy, I've in the last couple of days sent a few links in Twitter. As I said before, Twitter is one of the ways that I connect better in regards to my professional doings. It's the best way for me to share information and to obtain information. So if you need to connect with me, just follow me on Twitter. In the last 2 days, about this particular conference that you're attending today, I posted 3 links in regards to the use of wearable devices like Google in pharmacy. There is a couple of good videos in YouTube about the use of Google Glass in the pharmacy, and that's named Google Glass in the Pharmacy. You can look it up, and it illustrates how Google Glass can be, for example, used to scan barcodes that then will give us all the information about a particular drug. Google Glass scanning barcodes on patients' chart, alerting the pharmacists about the patient's own drugs, doing the medication reconciliation, for example, before the patients go home. Everything done by a wearable device in your forehead without the need to anyone to be tapping at a computer or using their hands or wasting time doing this. Another important feature that Google Glass has, like other future wearable devices, it allows you, as I said, to tap into the digital realm. Having artificial intelligence systems or deep learning systems automatically alert you of something that you're about to do that you should be doing. For example, a drug interaction, an adverse reaction, having the potential to be alerted of such happening without having to even think about that. That would certainly prevent medical errors, which are a major cause of morbidity and even mortality all throughout the world. Only in the United States, we know that about 440,000 patients die or have severe morbidity from medical errors in 1 year. So that is something that to me is very striking. Another feature that Google Glass, I think, is a magnificent tool for is to do, as I said before, teleconsultations. Doing telemedicine is something that I've been very interested in for many years. And teleconsultation is nothing more than a remote presence in medicine, advice or advice to patients or advice to providers. So when you can have someone extend their reach by using a device like this and the internet or the cellular connectivity to allow care where care is not possible otherwise due to physical barriers, that is something that we should really be excited about. We know that about of the 1 billion visits, at least, that we have to doctors' offices in the United States per year, about 80% of those visits do not require physical touch. So if that is the case, that means that we have patients that are not really needing to really physically go to the doctor. All they need is to be able to see the doctor and be able to get advice and a conversation like you and I are having right now. So I think that telemedicine through a device like this will improve and enhance the way we do telemedicine. I wanted to ask Angela to see whether anyone has any questions in the audience.
Okay.
I might answer and make it more interactive.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Grossmann. Is there any question for him? Now is the time. Despite he's at Maine, 6 hours before us, he's working today. He has booked this slot to stay with us.
I have a question.
Yeah, there is one question. Could you please stand up and... is there any... Yeah, excuse me. There is a microphone. We are going to have just, just one question because we are in a very tight timing, Rafael, okay? But we have a lady here raising a question for you.
Can you hear me? So my question is, you mentioned that 80% of the doctor visits are actually, it's not needed that they see each other physically. So how do you distinguish beforehand if the patient needs to go to the doctor, or you can do it like we're doing it now, seeing each other only on screen?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And obviously, it depends on the specialties. You know, for example, in my case, many of my patients who I initially see physically, for follow-up, they might have to drive 200 kilometers to see me for a 10-minute visit. So that particular patient, I know very well that most likely will not need to have me examine them physically. So a connection with telemedicine in that particular case would, for example, make sense. There's always the default of if the telemedicine fails or if telemedicine is not enough, you go back to sort of the old ways and you bring the patient back to you. Imagine, for example, psychiatry. Imagine dermatology. Imagine neurology. So specialties that really need a lot of visual cues, but do not need many physical, tactile clues. Those are the things that we know that can be certainly not be brought to you, wasting resources for that patient, for the system, for society, and for you in order to be treated. Imagine cardiology, patients who can be away, and you can, with a remote stethoscope, you can actually listen to that patient's heart, no matter what the patient is. We're doing that here in Eastern Maine Medical Center. We have patients who are 100 miles away, and you can listen to their heart sitting in front of your computer. So it takes a little bit of tweaking, but it's certainly something that is very successfully done already.
Okay. Dr. Grossmann, thank you so much for being with us today. I invite you all to follow Dr. Grossmann through Twitter, as he said. His account is @ZGJR. Okay? Through Twitter, you will find as well his blog. I do really love and learn a lot on his storytelling regarding his experiences and thoughts about this new scenario of the participatory medicine. And finally, I ask you for a big applause for Dr. Grossmann. And let's stay in touch. Adiós, Rafa. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.